is up, guys? I am back with another video. This time it's going to be for Nidus, as I promised in last week's video. Basically, Nidus and the Helmet Charger go hand in hand with this build. I use strain mods. As you can see, there's maggots all over, and that's because of the Helmet Charger popping them out. Sounds gross, but that is what it is. So, just to give you a quick glimpse of the Helmet Charger again, if you haven't watched the last video, I do suggest going to watch the last video for the Helmet Charger. But basically we use Strain Eruption and Strain Fever. Strain Eruption makes maggots explode on death, dealing 4% of an enemy's current health as corrosive damage to any enemy within 8 meters. And then Strain Fever, Helmet Charger gains plus 30% damage per assist. And because we're using the strain mods, we have 3 of them. It grows up to 6 cysts over 18 seconds that erupt every 25 seconds to spawn a maggot. So basically, having the strain mods makes the maggots spawn. And then I'll show you the last strain mod I use, which is going to be on Nidus after we go over the abilities a bit. So Virulence. Rupture the ground with a damaging fungal growth that steals energy from each enemy it strikes. For every 5 enemies hit, the infestation mutates, multiplying its destructive force. So you're going to want to hit a lot of enemies with this, so range is going to be pretty important. Of course, it's not the absolute most important, but you're going to want to get it pretty high up there. So like right now, my range is 175. The length of this goes 28 meters. So it's going to hit a lot of enemies in a path. So it's solid to get it higher, but you don't want to max your range over everything. Next is Larva. Spawn an infested pod that erupts with tendrils, latches on to nearby enemies, and pulls them in. You want range for this as well, because you want it to pull things in so that you can use your Virulence to hit a bunch of them. So they kind of go hand in hand with each other. You don't always have to use Larva, but I do suggest using it to get the stacks from Virulence, because as you can see in the little video that they just did, by hitting multiple enemies, you get energy. Energy is important. Next is Parasitic Link. Bind to a target with Parasitic Link. When cast on an ally, both the host and Nidus have their ability strength increased. Linked enemies take some of the damage inflicted on Nidus. So basically this could be a survival tool. This could also be a damaging tool. So it's good with allies. It's good on enemies. So take your pick. You can use it on either. The kind of catch is they have to stay within a range. So an ally range is 70 meters with my build, and enemy range is 35 meters. So you need to make sure that you're staying within range of either the enemy or the ally, whoever you have it on. Otherwise, you're not getting the damage increase or the damage redirection. So stay within range of whoever you put this on. Doesn't matter if it's an enemy or an ally. Otherwise, it's pretty much going to be useless at all times. And then last is Ravenous. This one is fun. So gluttonous maggots swarm nearby enemies, and this is why we use the strain mods to give us more maggots. Why not, right? Feasting until they are hit with virulence and burst with infestation. The maggots benefit from mutation, and each enemy hit adds to the mutation stack. So the main reason we have strain is just for more maggots. It's not necessarily to make Ravenous better, because it doesn't change anything with Ravenous. It's just having the more maggots kind of fits with Nidus. I mean, Nidus as a whole is a pretty disgusting frame if you really think about it. But the theme of Nidus is, essentially a plague. You have maggots going everywhere. You have them bursting. He's a gross frame, but he's fun. So we use a strain mod just to kind of keep with the theme, and just for a little bit of extra fun, I guess, and disgustingness, really, because the maggots do pop off of your helmet, and it's kind of gross. But anyways, last but not least, his passive. If Nidus is killed with at least 15 stacks of mutation, this is part of why you want the stacks. Those 15 stacks are consumed. This grants 5 seconds of invulnerability and restores health to 50%. Basically, this will make Nidus unkillable as long as you have the stacks. So it's important to get the larva and the virulence going as much as you can. You don't always necessarily need the larva, but you do need to be getting virulence, going so you can at least get the 15 stacks. And you want to keep the 15 stacks as much as possible. So let's go ahead and get into the build now. I use corrosive projection. Most frames tend to use it, but I think it's just too good to pass up sometimes. There are some frames where I'll switch it. If you don't want to use corrosive projection, I suggest either energy siphon or maybe growing power, but overall I would say energy siphon would be your next choice because you need energy on Nidus. Like you really need it. That's going to be the biggest drawback of Nidus is energy. I mean, if you don't have the energy, you're not going to be able to use your number 1 very much, or you're not going to be able to use your number 4. It's you need the energy. So I suggest taking either energy siphon or corrosive projection. Take a pick. I go with the corrosive projection most of the time, but I will occasionally sub in energy siphon depending on how I'm feeling that day. Next is power drip. This is our Xylus slot. Plus 15% ability strength and plus 30% chance to resist knockdown. Resisting knockdown is always just a good stat to have. It's not the most important at all times, but it is a good stat to have. But the 15% ability strength is really helpful. We want all of our abilities really to be hitting for more damage. So, we don't focus 100% on strength. I would say strength and range are probably our primary focuses without getting rid of efficiency or duration. So I would say it's not our focus. But at the same time, we do want to get them higher, both range and strength, than the other two because they're probably the most important stats. But overall, this is kind of like a all-around build. It's not so much focused on strength or focused on range. We don't nuke efficiency or duration. We have a little bit of a healthy boost to all of them. So going on, next is Hunter Adrenaline. Convert plus 45% of damage on health to energy. Again, you want energy. You need energy. The second part, plus 50% companion damage on enemies affected by slash. So your helmet charger is going to be for damage. That being said, companion damage is pretty garbage, but this helps a little bit with the damage. It's not exactly necessary. What you're using this for is for the top part, the converting of the damage on health to energy. So that's the main reason you have it, but the second part is helpful. Next is Stretch, plus 45% ability range. Then after that, Umbral Vitality, plus 500% health, and then plus 12.5 tower resistance. Tower resistance, I mean, that's cool, whatever. And then it actually is getting a boost from Umbral Intensify as well, plus 50% ability strength, and then some tower resistance as well. So having two of these, they're getting a boost. If we were to take off Umbral Intensify, we go down to plus 400% health. So I suggest taking both of those. If you don't have them for some reason, I think you get them free with Excalibur, Umbra Excalibur. So if you have them, make sure to max them. They go on a lot of warframes. I actually don't have mine maxed quite yet. They're both at rank 9, but once I get them maxed, I'll be happy. Anyways, next is Adaptation. When damaged, plus 10% resistance to that damage type for 20 seconds. Stacks up to 90%. So you're going to get resistance to specific damage types based on what you're getting hit with. That's a really good mod, especially considering Nidus is more of a tank frame than he is a damage frame. He still does good damage, don't get me wrong, but he is going to be able to tank a lot of damage as well, especially considering it's hard to kill him. As long as you're keeping those stacks up, he pretty much will never die. So next is Augur Reach, plus 30% ability range. And then the second ability, 40% energy spent on abilities is converted to shields. That second ability is cool because it does give a little bit of survivability, but I don't know if it really matters on Nidus since we don't have a shield anyways. Huh. I haven't paid that much attention to that. But either way, you're using this for the range, not so much for that second part. I already went over Umbral Intensify, it's just strength. We want the strength. Next is Prime Continuity, plus 55% ability duration. So this is primarily for your number 4. You want it to last a long time. So right now it's at 62 seconds with 155% duration. That's pretty important. Your Link is at 93 seconds with that duration. Your larva doesn't last that long, but 10.85 seconds, that's enough for you to get a couple of the virulence off. So duration is going to be more important than efficiency in this case. So, I guess you could try out efficiency. Let me know how it goes if you decide to, but I would say go for duration over efficiency for sure. And then the last, and this is probably the most important part of the build since this is a strain build, strain consume. Dead maggots within 5 meters are consumed, which is disgusting, by the way, restoring 4% missing health. So you're going to restore health with this. So this is another way to survive. And then, as I already kind of went over, the second part of this grows up to 6 cysts over 18 seconds that erupt every 25 seconds to spawn a maggot. So that's really important. You want the maggots to be coming because you want to be restoring health. So you want them to die. Them exploding is dying, and that's what the Helmet Charger Strain mod does. It makes them explode. So you put them all together, and you have actually a pretty nice build when you have all 3 of the strains together. I don't really know what the 4th one is, but I don't think it was a big deal. So decide what you feel is best, but definitely are going to need Strain Consume. Definitely are going to need the 2 strain mods on the helmet. And then I use Arcane Grace and Arcane Guardian. These are just more survival. If you have a different one that's max and you feel you don't super need the survival, then go ahead and use that. But that is for survival. So that's the build, guys. I'm going to go kind of show off the build a little bit in just a moment. But real quick, one more time, I'm just going to show you the strain mods on the Helminth, Strain Eruption, and Strain Fever. These 3 strain mods that we have on here are the most important part of the build. So we have Strain Fever, Strain Eruption on the Helminth, and then Strain Consume on Nidus. So let's go ahead and show you guys a build. Oh, I should go get some energy real quick. Okay. So right now I'm not going to really have much energy coming to me. So let's go ahead and just use my larva, pulls them all in, and then I get my stacks up just by doing my number 1. And I'm still getting energy like crazy. Okay, so my stacks are high as hell right now. Okay, but now it's below 14, so that's low. So we do another one of those. We have it back up to 18, 20. So the damage on this isn't insane, but it's good utility. And then we can just melt them with whatever gun we're using, which right now I'm using the Ignis Wraith solid gun. If you didn't want to use that, we have Hate right now as our melee weapon, and then as our secondary, let's pull that out. Our secondary, we have the shoot, I don't know what it's called. I'll show you guys in a second. But honestly, I don't super like the secondary, anyways. It's just kind of okay. There's others that I like better, but this is a Kubra weapon or Kuva weapon. So it's the Nasapog Kuva Brock, which I don't think the Nasapog part really matters too much. But yeah, so that's the build. It's more of a utility with some extra bits of damage. So, oh, my stacks are actually at 40. So, okay, it goes past 20 by a lot, apparently. I was wrong on that. Sorry about that. But as you can see, even with just me, doing my 1, I'm still pulling off 2,800 plus on damage with every single hit. And this goes up with our stacks. So the more you use it, the more stacks you get, the more damage you do. So the whole point is to get the damage going. The whole point is to get your stacks up. That's the main thing you want to do. And then, let's put the link on. So let's do this, get our larva out again, and then just keep doing the 1 until we're at 100 stacks. Okay, so now we're at 100 stacks. Let's use our 4. And then, see, this is the damage at max stacks. It is 4,700. That's really solid for one ability. Plus, we have the passive maggots growing and blowing up. So, it's a fun build, and I really suggest running it. It's 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 gross if you really think about what it is, but overall, it is a really fun build, and hopefully, you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you might do different. Um, just let's talk about the build a bit because this is honestly one of my favorite builds. I'm surprised I actually haven't done a video on this sooner, but either way, I wanted to make sure to share this one with you guys. So, if you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. Not sure what I'm going to do next week, but it will still be a Warframe video. If there's any suggestions you guys have, let me know in the comments, and I will take a look at those, see if I can get a good build going, or if I already have a good build, and go from there. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.